Today's burdens, tomorrow's bridges. In terms of uniqueness, it's a beautiful thing when you look at another person and you see nothing but something that is amazing and unique. Uniqueness is something that's literally having no equal. It's incomparable. So one has to ask himself, when you are in the womb of your mother, you will literally spend 9 months there, becoming unique. Not like anybody else. If you think about that, even two twins who are exactly the same are still unique. That combination of those uniquenesses make you a perfect template. What that means is there is nothing that has existed, meaning another human being, that is existing and will exist that's like you. That perfected template is you. And that uniqueness is unparalleled to anything else. So when you take this combination and this uniqueness from your eye color to your iris, to the way you walk, the way you talk, your height, weight, this becomes this combination of tools. These tools are meant just for you. These tools only you possess in terms of your own talents, what sits inside of you. And when that happens and you start realizing that, there's something so beautiful that you also realize that there's a portion of you that no one else on the face of this earth has. That is your uniqueness that you share with no one else. So on that level, what happens when you come into the world and you don't have any limbs? Is this a disadvantage to a lot of us? Yes, absolutely. We look at that and we say, you know what? He's not a full-bodied person. No limbs, no extremities. This person is missing something. But are they? That's the difference. The outside may say so, but the inside is no. Why? Because I have to also understand that my challenges are also unique. How does that work? If you look in any perspective, like right now, all of you are looking at me. There's a uniqueness to your perspective that no one on the face of the earth shares with you. Every one of you is looking at me through a unique perspective. Imagine when you look at your challenges. What happens there? That uniqueness of your challenge is amazing. Now, challenges are there to do what? Give us more tools. They're not there to burden us. Therefore, your burdens of today, meaning the trials you go to, are what? Your bridges of tomorrow. And this is how it works. If you look at a baby and it starts to walk, right? First stands up. What does it try to do? Balance itself, right? It stands up, bam, it falls. Stands up again. What does it do? Falls, right? Why? We can say this is an unfair system. We can judge it very easily. Why would you do that to infant? It's innocent. But look how beautiful the system is. Why? Because when it balances itself, it gets its equilibrium. It takes the first step, it falls. Second step, it falls. Third step, fourth step, bam, I got it. What did I get? I earned a tool of freedom, which is walking. That is incredible if you think about it. But it needed to go through the challenge. So what happens how should we look at our challenges? If that's the case, that we earn through our challenges certain tools, why do we push them away? Why? Because we're not looking at them the right way. Here's how you should look at your challenge. Next time, I want you to think about this. When a challenge comes to your door, here's what I do. I go to the door. I open the door. I let it in. Give it a hug. What would you like? Coffee? Tea? Me and you are going to have a conversation. But understand, there's no one that's going to sit on this table but me in you. Why is that? Because I care for you. You come to my door. This is taking ownership of your challenges. Why? Because I don't want anyone else to solve you but me. Because I'm also greedy for that tool that you're going to give me, that I'm going to need tomorrow. When that next problem, what? Knocks on the door. I'm going to need that tool. I'm going to need to graduate through you. Here, if you learn how to do this, I guarantee you, you will fall in love with your challenges. Imagine loving when you hit rock bottom. How many of you would say, man, I love hitting rock bottom? Could you imagine that? But imagine when you do that, your heart feels gratitude. You can be up here, you feel gratitude, and you're down here, you feel gratitude. That's impeccable character. There's nothing like that. You become a different human being through your challenges. So when you earn that tool, what happens? You start realizing that my creation is unique. My challenges are unique. Therefore, my potential is unique. I have to climb my own mountain, meaning I have to love my own mountain. I have to fall in love with my own maximum potential. Not no one else's potential. I don't look at the next person next to me. I don't look at validation from the outside in terms of reaching my potential. I don't. Because that person has a different mountain than me. They possess different tools, like Nick doesn't have any what? Limbs or extremities. But you know what we do? We compare. That's what we do. We have to realize that we were created with a certain set of tools to meet specific set of challenges to maximize our own maximum potential, not the next person's potential. So how do we find our uniqueness? How do we find it? 3 steps. I'm going to give you something really quickly. To me, this has helped me tremendously as I was growing and trying to refine my own uniqueness. I love people. I love every one of you, believe me. You know why? Because you are part of my own potential in terms of my own uniqueness and how I refined myself. My one goal in life is to do this, to meet as many people face to face as possible. And look where I'm standing. I love it. This is my potential. I'm in love with my own maximum potential. And from there, you have to do something that's unlike the next person. A lot of us, what do? We compare to the outside. We seek who we are by the validation of the Facebook button. Right? Raise your hand if you have Facebook. Come on. You're joking. When you get that like button, what happens? We want conformity, right? We want to conform. We need that like button to be hit as many times as possible. Why? But you're so beautiful from the inside and who you are. Why do you need someone to tell you how secure you are by hitting a like button? Why do you seek validation from the outside? It should be what? Discovery mode on the inside. Right here. Look at this right here. You see this? They've confined me, right? But watch this. I need you to help me get outside this little circle. Ready? See how we conform? But I'm not going to conform to this. I won't. Because I need your help. All right? You're going to give me some claps. All right? So let's go. Come on. Ready? I'm going to push out, okay? Here we go. I'm going to push out. But thank you. I appreciate the applause. All right. So I'm going to push out. Ready? I can't do it. I can't do it. Who put this barrier around me? You did. But when I go towards discovery, you know what happens? I step out. I look within myself. For me, that took a lot to do. Believe me, it's hard for a lot of us to do that. To feel like we are certainly special. That someone cares. But it has to be you first. Because discovery is looking within yourself. No longer looking to the outside and saying, you know what? You validate who I am. No, it's not like that anymore. I validate who I am. If I work out, I cover. I don't care. I don't need to show you who I am, that I have muscles so I get the attention from you. It doesn't work that way. I dictate the rules. And from there, I start looking in what? Towards my talents, my inclinations, what I'm genetically encoded for. I start refining myself further. And I'm no longer scared of what's to come or the conformity aspect of my circle. It's no longer like that because I can step out at will. Now, when you go to this and you take step 1, looking within yourself, step 2 is very brutal. I warned you, before I hit the script, before I hit the button, you're not going to like it. Ready? You sure? Oh man, honesty. That's a tough one. I'm telling you, a lot of us, we become professional liars to ourselves. To ourselves. And what do I mean by that? When you take an exam, I'll give you a quick example. I'll give you a great example. One of my friends, he took an exam. And he's a person that's so, you know those people by the book? They're like by the book on everything. Let me step outside here for a second. He's by the book. He doesn't cheat, doesn't do anything like that. Everybody in class was cheating. He decides to do what? To cheat. He cheated. He calls me up. He's like, man, I can't live with myself. Why? The guilt was too much. There's a concept called cognitive dissonance. When we go against ourselves in terms of our own principles, it generates guilt. You know what? Let's take it a little further. The professor calls him. He's like, listen, I need you in my office. You know what happens? Now he's doing it. He's trembling. Oh my God, he caught me. This guy's never cheated in his life. And now he calls me on his way to the principal. I'm on the phone with him, and he's literally, he can't put his words together. I told him, I'm talking in his ear, and I told him, like, listen, just be honest. You didn't earn that grade, therefore you didn't get the tool for the next challenge. Therefore, you've committed a crime against yourself. So now, he's walking in. Imagine, he can lose, he can be expelled from the school to university. And the professor opens the door. When he opens the door, he's about to come out with it. He's like, Professor, I love your class. Do you have that kind of courage to say what you need to say and be that brutally honest with yourself? Or are you going to lie to yourself and justify your own actions? Are you going to do that? Which is a lot of us, what we do is we rationalize. We lie to ourselves. We become professional, what? Liars. To who? To our own selves. That's the biggest crime you can do against yourself. Why? Because you're no longer moving towards your uniqueness as a person. And from there, you know what the professor says to him? He's like, man, you're one of my best students. Watch the guilt even get worse. He's like, you know what? He's like, man, you got a really good grade. Good grade. But you forgot the last page on the back. You didn't answer those. So I want to give you an opportunity to answer. See the guilt? 10 times worse. Can he come out now and say what he needs to say in terms of truth? No. He still couldn't do it. Which a lot of us, we don't have the courage to stand up against our own selves and say to ourselves, you know what? I'm committing crimes against myself when I'm not what? Being truthful with myself. I rationalize. Don't do that. Earn the tool of honesty. This will refine you further to go deeper into your own self. And what? Discover that uniqueness that makes you so special. If you do that and you become honest, the next step is what? Responsibility. Let me step back into my responsible cage here, right? That responsible aspect becomes so amazing that the responsibility, when I take on responsibility, I take full control of everything in my life. Nothing is outside my own control. We have something called the locus of control effect. And the locus of control effect tells us that what? When we have control over our lives, we become more happy. So the highest form of responsibility, when you take complete control of your life and you say to yourself, you know what? I am fully responsible for everything that happens to me. That's the highest level of maturity. And I remove blame. I don't blame the world. I don't blame God. A lot of people, sometimes we even get to that stage. No, I am responsible. So when you go, you get to that level. You take someone like Nick, no limbs, no extremities. He was brave enough to what? Not compare himself and say, I'm not a full-bodied person. Then he was honest with himself to what? Accept the situation. And number 3, he took responsibility for his own life. And look where he's at now. That's what you do in life. You take it over because it's yours. So I tell you, my friend, find your uniqueness. Do not look at it from the outside. Look within to find who you truly are. And with this, I will end with this. Allow me to read it off. This is one of my favorite quotes. Your sickness is from you, but you do not perceive it. And your remedy is within you. It's with you, but you do not sense it. You presume you are a small entity, but within you is enfolded the entire universe. You are indeed an evident book by whose alphabets the hidden becomes manifest. Therefore, you have no need to look beyond yourself. What you seek is with you, if you only reflect. Thank you.